In the Bible, were Naomi's parents mentioned. The biblical narrative, especially in the Old Testament, is brimming with genealogies and family trees that sometimes get a blip of a mention or expansive coverage. It's like JewishAncestry.com, only you're trying not to fall asleep while reading. But when it comes to Naomi, a central figure in the book of Ruth, we find ourselves hitting a dead end regarding her parents. No, Naomi's parents don't get any airtime in the scriptures. The story kicks off with Naomi already married to Elimelech, and eventually having 2 sons. The text seems to do this intentionally, shifting the focus not so much on where Naomi comes from, but on her relationship with Ruth, and the unfolding narrative that ties into the lineage of David, and by extension, to Jesus. It's like the writers were saying, stay tuned to this lady, and her Moabite daughter-in-law. They're pretty pivotal to the plot, even if their backstories aren't in the spotlight. Also, ancient texts like these were less about the individuals and more about their role in the community and their relation to God's plan. The lack of mention of Naomi's parents is not much of an outlier, when you consider that the Bible often skips over what modern readers might find as essential details. Naomi's tale instead becomes one of loss, resilience, and redemption as she navigates her way back to Bethlehem from Moab after the death of her husband and sons. The story is less about where she hailed from and more about where she's going and the relationships she builds. So instead of a detailed family tree, we get a story of loyalty, where Naomi goes from a woman facing a bitter life to one blessed through her bond with Ruth. It shows the scriptural emphasis on relationships and the unfolding of God's providential care, which is what you see repeatedly throughout the biblical tales, especially when you're not getting caught up on the who's who of ancient families. And yeah, that's just how they roll in the good book.